All praise and glory to JAH, our Father, and His Son Jahoshua the Messiah, also honored as Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, Jeshua, Yahusha, Yahoshua, Yahshua HaMashiach. Now the titles Messiah, Christ, and Mashiach all mean the anointed of JAH. And indeed, there are many understandings of the Most High's names in the world, and we wish not to cause confusion, and we understand the controversies. But in order to show that you do know the Most High's name, ensure that you keep the commandments of love in obedience to the Most High, as well as having the testimony of the Messiah in spirit and truth. We're going to look at JAH's perfect kingdom and the scriptural number 12. The number 12 in the Holy Scriptures signifies JAH's holy kingdom, his family, and his perfect standard of government. 12 represents JAH's heavenly authority, his righteous justice, and holy order. The number 12 is the product of 3 times 4, of which 3 can signify the heavenly and 4 the earthly. The number 12 has further significance as it represents JAH's mercy, judgment, and truth. So let's get into this topic and look at the wisdom of the number 12 and the Holy Scriptures. Genesis 25. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. Exodus 15:27. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. Exodus 24:4. And Moses wrote all the words of JAH, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. So we can see from here, these verses here, that number 12 is very important, as we see that the nations of Ishmael are divided into 12 princes. And of course, these are all based upon the number 12 as it relates to also the 12 tribes of Israel. When we look into the tabernacle, we see that the shewbread, that there was 12 cakes. Leviticus 24:5. And thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2 tenth deals shall be in 1 cake. 1 Kings 18:31. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of JAH came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. 1 Kings 19:19. So he departed thence, and found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he was with the 12th. And Elijah passed by him, and cast his mantle upon him. So again, we can see that right early in the scriptures, the number 12 stands out greatly. We see that there was 12 stones that were there with the altar. We have the 12 pillars as well. And the 12 stones also dealing with Elijah. And I want you to take note to the 12 yoke of oxen. It's going to become very important later on. The 12 patriarchs from Shem through to Jacob are 12. 1 Chronicles 1. Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abram, and the same is Abraham, the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. And of course we know, although it's not in that scripture there, that Jacob or Israel comes from Isaac. So we can see again the number 12 with the 12 ancient patriarchs starting right after the flood with Shem, going right through to the 12 tribes. And of course that brings us right to the 12 tribes of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. And this is their birth order. And of course, this is the basic foundation of the nation of Israel. They're divided into 12 tribes. Just like the foundation of Ishmael is also 12 princes. So we can see how 12 relates to government foundations. Not only that, the 12 judges of Israel in the book of Judges are also there as well. And in the book of Judges, you'll see that we have 12, that's right, 12 judges, from Nathaniel straight through to Samson. As well, we got the 12 prophets that comforted Israel. Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 49. And of the 12 prophets, let their memorial be blessed, and let their bones flourish again out of their place. For they comforted Jacob and delivered them by assured hope. Now these 12 prophets, just so you know, they're known in the world as the minor prophets, but there's nothing minor about them outside of that their books are a little bit smaller than the major prophets. But you can see that they're very important, and there's 12 of them from Hosea to Malachi who were sent to the children of Israel. Praise Jah. And as well, when we get into judgment, we have Aaron's 12-stone breastplate of judgment. Let's get a read. Exodus 28.
And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it. Of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shalt thou make it. 4 it shall be, being doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set in it settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes.
It's also good to know that the Israelite singers during David's times were grouped into 24 lots or 24 camps of 12. And bear in mind that 12 times 24 is 288. 1 Chronicles 25. So the number of them with their brethren that were instructed in the songs of Jah, even all that were cunning, was 288, which is 288. And again, that's 12 times 24 is 288. Or 144 plus 144 is 288 as well. And we know that 144,000 is a multiple of 12 and is significant in the scriptures. Now when we get the rest of this read, we're going to just see that there's 24 lots and they all have 12 brethren in them. And this is beautiful to know that how these singers, the choir of Jah, was singing praises and glory and honor to his name.
We give the honor, we give the glory. 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 Everlasting Father, Hosanna, the Prince of Peace, Alpha and Omega, beginning and the ending. Everlasting Father, Hosanna, the Prince of Peace, Alpha and Omega, beginning and the ending, and beginning and the ending. Everlasting Father, Hosanna, the Prince of Peace, Alpha and Omega, beginning and the ending. All praise.
Now as we move on, we also have the 12 brazen oxen and the 12 golden lions in Solomon's temple. Let's give that a read. 2 Chronicles 4, verse 3. And under it was the similitude of oxen, which did compass it round about, 10 in a cubit, compassing the sea round about. 2 rows of oxen were cast. When it was cast, it stood upon 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking towards the south, and 3 looking towards the east. And the sea was set above them, and all their hinder parts were inward. There was 1 sea and 12 oxen underneath it. So again, we can get an understanding that this is inside the temple, inside the sanctuary. We have these 12 oxen. And again, it reminds us about the 12 oxen that was working with Elijah. That was a very beautiful thing. It's almost like a preview of an understanding of what's in JAH's temple. 1 Kings 10:19. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round about, and there were stays on either side on the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And 12 lions stood there on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. So again, we have these beautiful 12 golden lions. They weren't real, but they were made of pure gold. Alright, now that we've covered many things in the Old Testament, let's look at some wisdom of the number 12 in the New Testament to get a good full understanding of this deep topic. Well, first of all, we know that the Messiah had 12 apostles that he had chosen on his ministry. He chose them from various occupations, from fishermen to tax collectors, right? A couple of them were married, but they were all Israelites. And these Israelites, again, were handpicked by the Messiah. Matthew 19, verse 28. And Jahoshua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration or the resurrection, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So again, we're starting to see now the Old Testament connection with the New Testament, as the apostles will be judging the 12 tribes of Israel in the future. So now let's look at JAH's heavenly city and the number 12. Remember, when we're making this connection here, we got to think about those gemstones on Aaron's plate, his breastplate that he had, that was the breastplate of judgment. And you're also going to see now some beautiful gemstones of New Heavenly Jerusalem, a city that JAH has prepared for his people that will be in the future. Revelation 21. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from JAH, having the glory of JAH, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. It's a cube. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third a chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a chrysoprase, the 11th a jacinth, and the 12th an amethyst. What beauty we have here. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of 1 pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Adonai Jah Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Jah did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. So we can see in this beautiful heavenly city that is coming down to earth, it has no need of the sun and moon in it. So again, we can see here that there's no need for any solar or lunar calendars, because the Most High has his own calendar that's based upon his own count, and he is the light thereof. Now let's look at the 140,000 Israelites from the 12 tribes, a well-known verse. Revelation 7. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So we notice that all the tribes are sealed here. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12, Reuben 12, Gad 12, Asher 12, Naphtali 12. Of Dan, I put Dan there, were 12. People, or the scriptures have Manasseh there, but it shouldn't be there. It should be Dan, because it's all the tribes, if you noticed, up in verse 4. And of course, Manasseh comes from Joseph. Simeon 12, Levi 12, Issachar 12, Zabulon 12, Joseph were sealed 12,000. So again, we can see that Joseph, again, is one of the 12 tribes. Manasseh isn't one of the 12. Manasseh comes from Joseph. Joseph had two sons, right? Ephraim and Manasseh. And they're not going to be given 12,000. So I do believe that this is an error, because it does say, again, all the tribes, and Dan should be included there. You can't have Manasseh and Joseph, because they would be the same tribe mentioned twice. Benjamin 12 as well. Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So indeed, we do know that this woman here represents Israel along with the 12 tribes, because she's crowned with 12 stars. Now what's good to know as well is that the Messiah begins his father's business, his ministry in the temple at 12 years old. Luke 2. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Jahoshua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. Verse 46. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they, his parents, saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that you sought me? Know ye not that I must be about my Father's business? Matthew 24:53. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So we can see here, in these verses, that Messiah began his ministry in the temple at 12. Now, it wasn't his 3-year ministry, obviously, but he began doing, as the scripture says, his Father's business. And again, all that heard him were amazed. Now, this is an important part of this lesson here. There are only 12 months in the scriptural year, never 13. If you have a calendar that uses a 13th month, sorry to say though, it's false. But let's get some scripture reads. Esther 2:12. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into the king Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so it were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. 1 Kings 4 verse 7. And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel. This is a part of the government, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. Daniel 4 verse 28. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. And at the end of 12 months, 1 year, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. So again, getting back to the Most High's government, we can see that we have 12 officers that serve the king. Again, representing all 12 tribes of the children of Israel. First Chronicles 27. Now the children of Israel, after their number, to wit, the chief fathers and captains of thousands and hundreds, and their officers that served the king in any matter of the courses, which came in and went out month by month, throughout all the months of the year, of every course were 24,000. So we know that 24 divided by 2 is 12. Over the first course, we have the first month. And again, we can just go see 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12. Again, 12 captains over all the months of the year. There would never ever be 13 captains at all. No way, it's only 12. And this is because there's only 12 months in JAH's years. Yes. When you learn about the true calendar, the true scriptural calendar of the Most High, there could only be 12 months, never 13. And these 12 months are Abib, Ziph, Sivan, Judah, Dan, Elul, Ethanim, Bul, Kislev, Tebeth, Sabat, and Adar. Now, the months 4 and 5, we gave the names Judah and Dan because those months aren't mentioned. Or actually, one is mentioned, but it's the month Tammuz. But we know from studies and from the scriptures that Tammuz is a pagan god. So we just used Judah and Dan, which are the 4th and 5th sons born to Israel. And of course, you can see that we don't begin our year at the spring equinox. It begins in February. But that's another topic. All in all, though, there's 364 days in a common year, and we also have sabbatical years that keep everything in alignment with the true seasons of the Most High. When we look at, again, these 12 months, you'll learn that the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the autumn equinox, and the winter solstice are all the midpoints of the true seasons. They're not the beginning like the world teaches. This is one of the greatest calendar deceptions of all time in our modern era, that these equinoxes and solstices are the beginning of the seasons. But, as we're going to show in another video, they are truly the midpoint of the seasons. Now, when we look in the book of Revelation, we see something very wonderful. We see something great in JAH City. We see the tree of life bearing 12 different fruits every 12 months. There's no 13 different fruits. There's no 13 months ever in JAH's almanac for any reason whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, you start to see that 13 is actually an evil number. But let's get a read. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of JAH and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healings of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of JAH and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him, and they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. For JAH giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever and ever and ever. Praise JAH and Jahoshua the Most High. So again, even in JAH City, we can see very clearly that there is no 13 months or 13 fruits. Again, I repeat, anybody that uses a 13-month calendar, you can be sure that that calendar is not in alignment with the scriptural holy days.